In this video, I will speak about if the Brazilian stock market it's an opportunity in terms of investing. I have been recently in Brazil just last week, and for me was an opportunity to get to know to get to know better the country. Despite uh, despite my native language is the same as Brazil, Portuguese, I it was my first trip to Brazil and my opportunity and an opportunity to be in touch with the Brazilian people and economy. Brazil, it's a very large economy. It's one of the top 10 largest economies. So we must we must look at all the economies that are in this kind of position. In terms of valuation, we see a very big difference, for instance, between the PE ratio in the American stock market and in the Brazilian market. At this moment, the PE ratio in the US market it's more than 25 times, and in Brazil it's 8.5. So in terms of valuation, we can see here a clear opportunity. Of course, there are some risks. There are always risks that reflect this difference in terms of valuation. If we look at the positioning of Brazil in terms of the geopolitical situation, Brazil is somehow it's a little bit not aligned with the Occidental side. It tries to have a position of independence and also have a relatively good relationship with China, which is not seen as a positive sign for the markets. But Brazil is a very large economy. I was mainly on an island that has a big biodiversity. It's one of the places with an astonishing biodiversity, Fernando de Noronha. And in a place like that, we can see a clear path of sustainability and the defense of ecology. For instance, in that island, there is an objective, for instance, in that island, there is a big objective in terms of carbon emissions. For instance, the island wants to, by 2030, to have no gasoline cars, no petrol, no gasoline cars. And this is a clear objective that reflects somehow the mentality of part of Brazil in terms of sustainability. I was also was present in a very big city, Recife. And in Recife, we see clear signs of strong economy, of course, with a big difference between poor people and rich people. But that is also a path that many countries have chosen, or that happened in a lot of countries, a big inequality. And of course, that's a problem, but that can be an opportunity if the path of the economy can help the poor people to reach a more higher standard. And it was funny to see the presence of some companies in this kind of environment. For instance, I use Uber in my country, in Portugal, but in Brazil the presence of Uber is amazing, and it's a very large country. I use Uber at a very affordable price to go from Recife to Porto de Galinhas, which is more than 50 kilometers away, at a very affordable prices. And speaking with people, a lot of people use Uber, and Uber, it's a very big country, and it's a very big country, and of course these companies can have a very good performance in terms of a very large market, like can have a very good can grow in this kind of very large environment. Brazil also has a good position in terms of natural resources. One of the companies, I have two positions at the moment in the Brazilian market. I have a global ETF, and I have Val, which is a company of natural resources, and that is one of the issues, that is one of the characteristics of the Brazilian economy. It's for instance, the materials and natural resources, the materials and natural resources companies. So, with some risks, Brazil can be a way of diversifying a portfolio, especially in a moment where we can see the main markets reaching some high evaluations in historical terms. I want to speak also about the performance of my portfolio. I want to speak also about the performance of my portfolio. The portfolio is having a similar performance as the S&P 500, which, considering the difficult markets and we are facing, it's a good performance. It is a very diversified and resilient portfolio, so I'm very confident about the future. This was my monthly video about the markets, about my portfolio. I hope to see you again next month. I hope to see you again in next month's video.